After the prototyping step of the design thinking process, we are arriving at the last one, dedicated to validation of our previous activities. Usability testing is all about verifications of our designs, but also assumptions we made in the previous stages. Is the target group of users able to perform tasks that solve their problems through your prototype? Are the assumptions you made during defining and ideation stages correct? Is the functionality of your prototype clear to the testers? Those are examples of very high-level answers that you need to acquire during usability testing activities. As I already explained in my previous videos, usability testing is a method of testing the functionality of your product prototype by observing real users as they attempt to complete tasks through it. A typical usability testing session would require from you preparation of tasks or goals list, which testers would need to perform through the prototype. An example of such a task can be creation of an account, purchase of an item, or whatever else your product offers to its users. During testers' interactions with the prototype, you need to observe them thoroughly, which allows you to spot any blockers and issues with the logic, interface, or core concepts. Apart from simply observing, it's a good idea to prepare a list of feedback questions, which will allow you to expand the amount of useful information. An example of such a question can sound like this: was the process clear for you? Or is there anything missing in the presented process? Or if you had a magic wand, what would you add to the presented prototype? List of tasks and feedback questions for usability testing is typically referred to as study plan or script. Apart from the mentioned, it's a good idea for you to include in your script the purpose of the study, some background on the product, and questions to learn about the participants' current knowledge of the problems that the prototype aims to solve. To make your usability testing session unbiased and scientific, you should follow the same script in each user session. Assuming that you have your prototype ready to go and you also prepared a script for your study, you need to find participants for it. I think that's the most difficult and time-consuming step for most aspiring UX designers. Because first you need to find your target group representatives and then somehow convince them to spend time on your study. Conducting your usability testing sessions online through conference calls definitely will help you on that front, because you don't need physical location and participants don't need to spend time commuting. Then, most likely you will need some sort of a carrot that would convince them to join your study. Good practice is to offer something like a gift card. Okay, but how can you find them? Here with the help come various social media platforms like Facebook or LinkedIn. You can look up for interest groups that your target group should be interested in. Then enroll to those groups and post about your study. You can also utilize extended advertisement targeting functions and reach with your study this way. Nowadays, more and more designers use dedicated platforms to conduct their usability testing studies. Primary argument for that is the speed increase and process simplification. Because you don't need to find and schedule meetings yourself, and you can conduct them asynchronously. Unfortunately, those services are generally quite expensive, but most of the time they are worth that money. After the study, it's time for analysis of what you learned and application of your findings to the next iteration of the prototype. If the situation requires it, you may need to go through all or some of the design thinking process steps multiple times. But thanks to that, the chances for success of your project increase. It's also easier to acquire funding. That's why many startups use a design thinking approach for that purpose. If you want to watch the videos dedicated to the previous stages, you can click on the playlist here. Or, if you want to learn something else today, you can click on the video here.